Hi, this is Voidwatcher from Newbies Radio, and welcome to the first impression of Volibear, the Thunder's Roar. Volibear is a tanky melee fighter who's a very capable jungler as well. As you can see from his abilities, he lacks any kind of ranged attack. His frenzy benefits greatly from attack speed, and he can even be built heavily focusing on AP. This time I will be taking a different approach on this type of video. As per usual, Riot provides players already with explanations of each ability a champion has. Instead, I will give my view on how the champion functions. I will first start off by showing you a pre-recorded game where I chose to go as a jungler with Volibear. I start off with cloth armor and 5 health potions. I move down to the blue buff and start off there. With the help of my teammates I get off to a pretty good start. Then moving on to the wolf camp, and then on to the wraiths and up to the golems.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
To your side.
Also, pay attention to the Easter egg I discovered when the enemy team had a Cillian. A bit unexpected but funny nonetheless. It was a very passive game at first, as you can see by the timer, but finally I see my chance and head in to grab Singed. Knowing he's a slipper champion, I try to head him off. Activating Rolling Thunder, I get a speed boost enough to grab him and throw him away. Instantly using Majestic Roar, I slow his movement speed, allowing Sion to catch up to the fight. As I go low on health, my passive activates and I quickly regenerate health. Thinking Singed has escaped, I back off while Sion continues to chase. Running in to help, I finish Singed off with a fully charged Frenzy attack. Here's another encounter with Singed. Knowing my passive is off cooldown, I take the risk of heading inside the brush where I know he's hiding. Baiting him outside the brush, he gets locked down and ultimately killed off by a Lux. Volibear truly shines in team fights as a tank. Here I initiate by catching our Morgana out of position with Rolling Thunder. While I could have done without the flash, I wanted to make sure she wouldn't have time to stun me before I caught her. As the rest of the enemy team joins in, I activate Volibear's ultimate, Thunderclaws. Each of his basic attacks unleashes a chain lightning which basically functions like an AoE. Taking the front of each fight, I enable my carries to kill most of them off while keeping them safe from dying. Please bear in mind that this is only a first impression of the champion. I won't provide any in-depth guides or strategies. Only my own thoughts and ideas about him, as this is basically the third game with him since he was released. He seems to be quite weak and easy to lock out early game, so plan your ganks accordingly if you jungle. He also lacks any sort of ranged attacks but has an amazing gap closer by the name of Rolling Thunder. Be careful however, as it has a rather long cooldown. I would only use it if I knew I could catch up with an enemy. And also remember that your speed only increases if you actually chase an enemy, not when running away from them. As I built him as a tank, I'm not quite sure how he would work if built as AP. While not as tanky, he could deal considerable damage if left alone for too long. While he is quite a fun champion to play, I feel that his passive wouldn't suffer too much if he regenerated a less numerical value compared to what it is now. Perhaps lower the internal cooldown of it to compensate if that were to happen. While I did notice he did an obscene amount of damage on his active frenzy, maybe this was due to the fact that the enemy team rarely even bought any protective items. But it felt slightly over the top for me. If you're looking for another tank who packs quite a punch, I'd highly suggest getting Volibear. He only costs 6,300 influence points or 975 riot points, but he's quite enjoyable and very much fun as a jungler. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. If you want to keep up to date to our future videos, please subscribe. Goodbye for now.
Victory!